The St. Peter's Lions Club Marina is a little quieter this summer than usual, but it got a lot busier on Saturday afternoon with the arrival of two people hoping to make an impression on Richmond County voters in the upcoming election. They were Progressive Conservative Party leader Tim Houston and the party's local candidate, former Port Hawkesbury Town Councillor Trevor Boudreau. Let's speak to both of them right here at the Marina right now. Well, thank you again for joining me today, gentlemen. The first thing I want to ask you is, how is the day going? You folks have been stopping in at a number of different areas in Isle Madame and mainland Richmond County over the past few hours. What kind of reception have you gotten so far, and how have things been going?
Fantastic. I mean, it's a beautiful day here. We got a great candidate here, so I'm looking forward to just getting out around Nova Scotia, telling Nova Scotians what I stand for as a leader, what the PC party stands for, and certainly I've been touring the province, and this is a beautiful, beautiful part of the province. It's been a great day.
Trevor, what's the reaction been like on the floor as you've been getting to these communities? Obviously, the timing is a little different with the pandemic and with events canceled, but are you finding the message has been receptive as you go around?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's been great having Tim here. It was important for me to see if we could get Tim down early after I became the candidate, to make sure he could see what a beautiful spot we have, but also get to meet some of the folks and some of the businesses and groups that we have here and what make us tick. And so really pleased that Tim was able to get here.
I know that first impressions can be very important in a political campaign, but first impressions are also important in terms of a leader meeting his new candidates. So I'm wondering, first of all, Tim, can you tell me a little bit about what you first thought of Trevor as a candidate for Richmond County? And Trevor, same questions to you. What did you think of Mr. Houston in terms of his leadership of the PC party?
This guy's putting an incredible team together. I've been so impressed with South traveling today and just seeing how people kind of gravitate towards him. And I think it's just a testament to his community involvement and just the type of person he is.
Yeah. You know, I've been in municipal politics for quite some time, and I've seen the need to have a partner in the province that is willing to work with us at that community level. And Tim and I have had those discussions. We started our discussions early. I'd say we've been courting for a couple of months, maybe a year now, just talking about my belief system and what I'm about and what Tim's about and how I could be part of a team that works to make sure communities are heard and make sure that we have an opportunity to make sure that the things that are important to us here in Richmond County are heard on all levels.
Has it helped you, Trevor, as you look towards provincial politics, to have worked in an area where collaborative efforts are so important? And I mean, we can look at your work on the Physician Recruitment Committee, the Cape Breton South Committee, and we can look at the way the Town Council has worked with municipalities all around, and sometimes has had to really work hard to be able to get a basic agreement on things like service sharing. Do you think that experience helps you as you start getting ready for provincial politics and could serve you well in the House?
Absolutely. I've considered myself a collaborator all the way through. I've recognized early on in my political career that you need to be working with your neighbors, you need to be working with your organizations and your communities, and I think that goes to the provincial level too. So we're all in this together. I think, Tim and I have a great understanding of where we want to see this province go and how we want it to work, and us being able to have that ability to provide that to Tim and to the organizations there.
Tim Houston, we just spoke of Trevor Boudreau's work on the Cape Breton South Recruiting for Health Committee, and I just wonder if I could pick up on that with you to ask, what do you think should be done in terms of recruiting physicians to rural areas of Nova Scotia? What hasn't worked in the past, and what would your party do differently if you're elected Premier?
We need to focus on the strength of our communities, because we're never going to win a bidding war with every other jurisdiction in Canada, or even broader than that, worldwide. I mean, but we have wonderful communities. We have actually a quality of life that, especially in this post-COVID world, I mean, people are trying to rebalance a little bit. They're looking for a quality of life. We have what people want, and that includes physicians, it includes all healthcare professionals. It just includes everyone, really. I mean, we have safe communities that are walkable, where people can feel like they're part of something. People want to belong. They want a quality of life that we can offer in Nova Scotia. So I think what we need to do is be proud of that, be confident in that, and just make sure that we're telling our own story. People will want to come here, and when we get them here, we'll keep them here, because we often talk about physician recruitment. But we need to focus on retention first, and I mean, if you can focus on retention, then the recruitment becomes a little easier. So we have what, and that's, I mean, for me, the work that Trevor's done on promoting community that's what we're all about, and that's why he's going to be an excellent MLA for this area.
Let me pick up then on another aspect of healthcare, that being long-term care. You and your party released an extensive look at what needs to be done in long-term care, and you underlined at the time that this is a crisis that predates the COVID-19 pandemic and what's gone on in places like Northwood. So you're looking to make an immediate impact, if elected, by committing to 2,500 new spaces at long-term care facilities across the province and partnering with the federal government on another 1,000 on top of that. Can you tell me a little bit about this strategy and why you think this is the right thing to do now and not later?
It's been obvious for a while, but certainly with COVID and what happened at Northwood in particular, but just people started to understand that, the way we treat our seniors, they deserve a lot more dignity. So for us, it's we looked at the issues. We as still a relatively new leader, I guess I've made a commitment to the party that I won't criticize without putting solutions forward. So the issues in long-term care are obvious, and we need more beds. We need more single rooms. We need to support the staff, support the families. So what we did is we said the issues are obvious, but what are the solutions? We did a lot of homework. We did a lot of research. We put together what I think is a very comprehensive plan. Of course, willing to improve it. I've laid that challenge down to people. Like this is where what we think, but we're listening. And we've had some feedback on it. Most of it's been positive. Some of it's been helpful as well. So that's what we're totally focused on the here and now. I mean, the funding for seniors it's been cut year after year, for 5, 6, 7 years now, and I think that showed up, and it needs to be addressed. So what we did is we put forward a plan that said, like, there's some immediate needs in beds and staffing, but long term, I mean, we have an aging population. This area in particular, is some of the demographics here is different than other parts of the province. So we need to think that in this province right now we have somewhere in the range of 8,000 long-term care beds. 10 years from now, that might be 20,000. So we have a tsunami of aging people coming at us. So we can't just keep chasing more beds, trying to catch up. So we need to also rethink the way that we support people as they age in place. So we put a plan together and put that forward, and I'm encouraged. But that we'll continue to do that on other issues as well.
Trevor, your thoughts on the PC plan and on the need right here in Richmond County, as Tim Houston has just mentioned, and we've seen that in Port Hawkesbury and around the Strait as well. But talk a little bit about the need right here in Richmond at this time.
Well, I mean, we've talked a little bit about the demographics, Tim and I, and you've made that known here as well. But certainly we are an aged population, and so I've always believed quality of life and the end of life care is so important, and so making sure people live with dignity and to be proud of where they're at and to be comfortable where they're at. And so, I was very pleased when I saw that plan come out, and certainly read through it, in line by line, because I'm one of those that policy and having a plan and thinking about what you want to do long term matters to me. So Tim's making it easy on me to like him a little bit more.
Nova Scotia has to rebuild itself after everything that went on with COVID. It caused severe damage to the business community, and the province has racked up hundreds of millions of dollars in deficit to be able to deal with all that. Can I get quickly your assessment on how the province has done and what you feel your party in government could do to be able to continue and improve on that process?
Yeah, look, at the beginning when the pandemic hit, we made a decision as a party, as a caucus, that the best thing for us to do to support Nova Scotians was to support public health and support the Premier, and we've done that. I mean, we've been kind of behind the scenes putting ideas forward to the Premier, writing to the Premier with different things, and we continue to do that. So I think on balance, Nova Scotians worked hard to flatten the curve. We were asked to stay home, and we did our part. But now as we look forward and see where does the province go from here, it's clear that the pandemic exposed some issues, some fundamental issues in this province around what we talked about long-term care, but around healthcare in general, and certainly around the economy and the economic growth opportunities. And there's nowhere that was exposed more than the failure of the province to provide high-speed internet to every Nova Scotian. I mean, it's just it was summed up for me when somebody told me that they had to drive to a Zoom meeting. So I think when we talk about moving the province forward, modernizing healthcare, modernizing education, growing our economy, these things are all contingent upon having high-speed internet. And there's too many places in Nova Scotia,
Absolutely.
too many people that don't have it. That's an important challenge facing the province. It'll be a big election issue. It's one that speaks to my very core. Like it is something I'm totally committed to making sure that every Nova Scotian has the same opportunity. The internet is a great leveler. It levels between rural and urban. It levels across different social economic things. You have to have the internet, and it's a shame that in 2020 we have school kids in this province that were receiving their homework with the grocery flyers. That's not a knock on grocery flyers, but
No.
it tells us where we're at, that kids couldn't just hop on the internet and get their homework done, couldn't learn. Think about how that's holding us back. So when we talk about rebuilding Nova Scotia and moving forward, that has to be front and center in the discussion.
Can I pick up on that with you, Trevor? Because we've known for quite a while now that both individuals and businesses in communities like Dundee and West Bay Road have really felt the strain of low-quality internet in these areas. We're seeing it in neighboring Inverness County as well. Can you speak a bit to the need to push for full internet and fully accessible internet in communities across Richmond County and beyond?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's, I haven't been on the job as a candidate very long, and it's one of the topics that comes to mind, forefront on everybody's mind. Rural Nova Scotia and rural Cape Breton in particular feel abandoned a little bit because they don't have that access that somebody else does. And there are people living in high rises in Toronto that have roots in Cape Breton and would love to be here to do their work online, and they can't do that. And so it's not just with internet, but cell coverage too. I mean, if you talk to someone in Framboise or if you talk to someone in Dundee, try picking up a phone call. And so internet is key. Having access to things that places across the world have. We live in a country where this should be pretty easy to come up with a solution for. So, and it's a necessary one.
Yeah, it's a basic human right.
Yeah.
I want to pick up on education just quickly because two things. You mentioned earlier about how the Liberal government in power now had shut down school boards and had shut down community health boards. First question very quickly to you on education and on health as an extension. Would you, as Premier, reopen these particular organizations? Would you reinstate school boards and community health boards?
Well, I think it's more community input into decisions. I don't know that we just go and get those boards back, but we need to find a mechanism that works. We might, but we want to talk to the communities, because I think what happens sometimes in politics is there's always an excuse. And I sat in the legislature, and for 5 years I listened to the government make excuses about how healthcare was deteriorating, and they constantly use the same excuse. Well, we're amalgamating the health boards. It takes time. Give us time. And while they were asking for time, things were getting really bad. So I think just to any politician that says, well, I'll just flick that switch and reverse that, I just worry that then becomes another 5 years of, well, we're trying to reestablish. So what I would say is we need to make sure that the ideas of communities, the input of communities are respected, and we need to find a mechanism to do that. So maybe it's somebody from the Department of Education in the jurisdiction with the authority to make decisions, or health, whatever the case may be. There'll be ways to do it, but I think right now it's just people don't know where to turn. So there's a lot of questions about the return to school. They can't just call their school board member. I've heard the minister say call the principal, but I mean that's not fair. I mean many of the principals I've been speaking to don't have full updates from the Department of Education either. So all this deflect and hide and stuff, it's what we need to get away from in politics. So what I would say is communities know what's best for themselves. Government needs to find a way to listen to it, and we'll find it.
Can I pick up on that thread with you, Trevor, just because I know obviously you and your wife Sarah have 2 young children. They will be going back to school in a couple of weeks. Can you give me a sense of your thoughts of whether the back-to-school layout that's been put out by the province is going to work, and do you have some concerns about how it's unfolding?
Well, certainly I think there's a heightened sense of tension across the province, whether you're a student, you're a teacher, or you're a parent. But I think what it comes down to is, there's a sense of need to see how we can get through this. COVID is not going away tomorrow. And so from my perspective and from my wife's perspective, we have every faith in the teachers and in the principals in our schools. We've been very fortunate to have good dialogue with them. But at the end of the day, we're going to do what's best for them. And going to school right now is, and we'll see how that process unfolds as the months go on and determine how we continue. But at this point, we're excited. Our kids are excited to see their friends, to get back into a routine. Those things matter to families and ours especially. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing some normalcy.
I want to ask you, too, about the political ramifications of what's happened in the last couple of weeks, and very specifically the resignation announcement by Premier Stephen McNeil. Some say it caught a lot of people off guard. Many would say, well, the leader is changing, so the government philosophy could change. Does that change the water on the beans for you folks as the PC party, or do you just go ahead as you would have normally?
Yeah, look, it changes politics in the province for sure. The premier's resigned. I was personally surprised by the resignation. I didn't see that coming, but I'm thankful for his service to the province. 17 years. It's a big personal sacrifice, a big family sacrifice, and I respect the sacrifice. I respect the service. We didn't always agree politically on things, but I still respect the service. So now the Liberals will need to determine a new leader, and then that new leader will do whatever it is they do. But for us, for the PC party, the challenge is to make sure that Nova Scotians understand what we stand for. Make sure that Nova Scotians understand what their option is, what the alternative is. So that's why, as a leader, I've been spending a couple of days a week touring the province, doing things like this with candidates or looking for candidates in different areas, and just making sure that we're looking Nova Scotians in the eye and having frank discussions with them about what is possible. And I think there's a lot possible for this province, and I'm really excited about the future of this province. And I hope that. I hope to see that happen under a PC government.
Trevor, your thoughts? Do you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, it's fascinating. I didn't see that coming, certainly, but my plan was always to get out early. When I ran municipally, I did the same thing. I wanted to make sure I could talk to as many people and many businesses as I could. My approach hasn't changed, whether that happens or not. I'm looking forward to working with Tim and the rest of the team and my team here. We're very excited about the ideas that we have and how we want to move forward. So it hasn't changed my approach. We'll see how it goes for the next couple of months.
We have covered a lot of ground in a short time, gentlemen, and I never like to assume that we've hit everything. Do you want to add anything else about any of this before we wrap up here?
Well, listen, thanks for your time today, and I do enjoy being in the area, and like this province in general. We were chatting earlier. I said you can't get in a car in Nova Scotia and drive 10 minutes and not find some place where you say, I could live here. There's lots of places around here I could live too. So with a good MLA, maybe I will someday. Who knows?
There we go. So your goal then is to add to the population of Richmond County by 1. Well, 2 or 3. You never know.
There you go.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both, gentlemen, for giving me some time here, and we wish you well on the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Adam.
All right. Tim Houston is the leader of the Progressive Conservative Party of Nova Scotia, joined by Trevor Boudreau, former Port Hawkesbury Town Council, and now the PC candidate for Richmond.